Alright, hey guys, Mitch here from the TheAudioDabbler YouTube channel, and I just want to take a few minutes and talk about a forum entry. It was about, over on the Audiobus forums, about just making something other than EDM with iOS. And a lot of the apps are geared to more of the kind of EDM kind of style, but you can take an app like Patterning, which is a really amazing drum machine. And like I have a Garage Kit 01. This is built into the thing, so it's a Garage Kit, so it seems more kind of a true drum kit kind of samples instead of just electronic drums. But you can take and program some blues shuffles. And so what I have right now is I went on freedrumlessons.com and got some blues shuffle beats as the drum tab, and I can do a video on how to kind of translate the drum tabs from the notation into program like Patterning. But I've got it set to triplets because a lot of times the shuffle kind of blues is doing triplets, and so I got it triplets on 12 steps. And then because the beats are divided up, so it's kind of like, I guess it's like 3/4 timing. More so, you got 3 beats with 4 measures, and so that's what we got here. And then, you can apply some swing. And basically what I got is the kick on the 1 and the 3. You got the snare on the 2 and the 4, and then you got the hi-hat kind of doing on the 1, triple lit. You got the trip and the lit on each of the different beats. So you got triple lit, triple lit, triple lit, triple lit. Okay, and this sounds like this. Okay, and then so what I did was, there was 6 different patterns, and so I just went through and made each of these different patterns, just kind of experimenting around and see what it sounds like. And I think it sounds pretty good. And this one right here incorporates some ghost notes, which you get a lot of times with the snare. And so how I got the ghost notes was I just, put in the note, but just made it a lot softer, and you just kind of get that faint. You can just, kind of hear it, but it's not really a full-on hit. More ghost notes, changing up some of the... And so, that does not sound anything like EDM, and you could easily take that and make some... some blues. You could take some of the swing off of it and some of the shuffle, make it standard 4/4 timing and turn that into some rock beats. And that's a built-in drum kit. I didn't go out and, make any different drum kits or whatever, import my own samples. That's, your own, that's just built in. And so what you can do with that is, because this is link enabled, I got link here, I can go into Loopy, which has link. I can set a couple bars. I can press play. Okay, and then I can just record. Oops. Well, I could record if I would actually turn my guitar up. Let's see. I am by far not a lead guitar player, so I'm not gonna embarrass myself with trying to sit there and play some guitar leads. But there you've already got a simple little track you can just jam along with, and then if you look at my audio bus chain, I've got IM1 in, so you could press play on this. Maybe a different bass. Let's see. bass. I'm not a bassist either, so and so there you go. You got a nice little groove going on. That's not EDM, and it's using just a couple apps. And so what can you do with it from here? Is you could continue on building up loops. Patterning has a nice song mode, and so you could kind of do some intros, and you got your verse, you got your chorus, all the different parts of a song, and you could kind of line them up and export this, record it into Cubasis. Same thing with audio with Loopy. You can share each of these different stems, and you could import them just into audio share, and then from there you can put them anywhere you want to. What I would say, and I want to make a video of this eventually, is to take and write some stuff using Loopy and patterning and a few other apps, maybe record it all into Cubasis, take and chop it up and import the different little stems into LaunchPad. And then from there, you've got the ability to, remix it how you want to, especially if you had a LaunchPad, one of the actual LaunchPad controllers. You could remix it live how you want to and play, lead guitar over it. And so if you wanted to do an extra chorus or an extra, verse, and have the verse kind of just continue on, and have a break that goes for 64 bars or 10 minutes or whatever, where you're just doing your guitar solos and stuff, you're completely open to, it opens the world up to you. So that's how I would approach maybe rock and blues and things like that for if you're wanting to do a live performance. Now, if you're not wanting to do live performance, you're just wanting to record some stuff, definitely use patterning and Loopy to get your ideas down. You want to polish it off into something like Cubasis, to where you actually have more of a DAW, and that's it. It's mainly about knowing the instrument that you're wanting to play, getting the right samples and the right, just the feel and the groove, especially when in drums. And one thing, I don't know if maybe I do it, maybe everybody does it, but I want to program drums, right? And so what I did is I went and watched drum tutorials. It wasn't iOS specific. It was just an actual drummer sitting behind a drum set playing drums. And I took notes and read the notation and got to feel for how an actual drummer plays. And that helps me program my actual drum beats. Same thing with pianos, guitars, synthesizers, just anything. You don't have to watch tutorial videos specifically for iOS, because the basic principles are the same. And especially if you go out and you watch, my next target is bass, because I have trouble programming bass lead lines and stuff like that, or bass lines. And so I'm going to go out and I'm going to just watch a bunch of bass tutorials of actual bassists playing an actual bass, the actual physical instrument, and just take some notes and see how they play things. And then I can come in and translate how they play into MIDI and into a certain app or whatever, and then I'm off to playing bass, or I just mimic what they're doing on the keyboard, and there you go. So that's my approach. So I may do a multiple part video. I do definitely want to do a video on just taking some blues and stuff and importing it into LaunchPad and kind of that stuff. If you have any suggestions, just leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later.